Okay, everybody, welcome to Houdini Battle. I'm Debra Isaac, your host. I'm an educator at at Drexel University and also the founder of Houdini.School, coming soon. We also have, I just want to make a quick announcement. We have sponsors tonight. We have GridMarkets and we have SideFX offering up their mouse pad for the winner tonight. So please look at the sponsor channel in Discord. I want to introduce our commentators tonight. We've got Justin Dykhouse. He works as a Houdini generalist at Magnopus. They do tons of awesome VR projects. We also have Remi Pierre, a Houdini pipeline TD at Digital Domain in Vancouver. And now I'm going to introduce the players. So we've got Peter Claes, our reigning champion. Will he win again? Let's find out. He's currently an expert technical artist at Infinity Ward, and previously he led Mill's effects team. We next have Jake Rice. He is an effects lead at Walt Disney Animation Studios. He is primarily focused on effects and tool development. Luiz Kruel, I hope I'm saying your name right, a senior technical artist at SideFX. His specialties include shaders, scripting, Mel, Python, and rigging. Finally, we have Max, and I'm so sorry I don't have your last name here. He is
Max is good.
Sorry. He
Max
is
Moseley.
Thank you. He is an effects artist who has worked at Blizzard and the Mill. He loves working with volumes, destruction, and fantastical effects. So now I'm going to share my screen. I would like some random seeds. Can some people, can I get the audience to put some random seeds in the battle chat right now? Here we go, you guys. So first I want to announce what the themes are. The themes are surrealist, steampunk, fantasy, retro, and art deco. The objects are going to be cake, rocket, candy, snow globe, and timepiece. Okay? So here we go. I'm going to put in my seeds.
Debra has a really nice setup where you can see it's going to be chosen, but since we are limited, because
you guys are just going to have to trust me, unfortunately, and also Peter should take credit for this. Oh my gosh! Okay, the challenge is steampunk candy.
Oh, sweet. That's awesome.
Okay, so on your marks, get ready. Set your timer. Go. 45 minutes.
All right, we started?
Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
Let me just do that timer thing. Start. And let's change this.
All right, so Max is going directly for reference. That's very good.
Yeah.
No, what I would do for steampunk candy, I don't know.
Steampunk candy. It sounds delicious, but it actually might burn you as well. So you know that, or pinch you in a hinge or something. Steampunk candy. It's a really interesting
just
idea.
making sure that this
It's already gone.
going well.
No, it's just setting it up.
I think the
All right,
visual
guys, I'm
interest
going to
is
mute
gonna
on
be pretty
Discord,
high.
and I'm going to go into
Yeah, looking for some reference because that's difficult.
Yeah.
Let's see. So Remi, you're on here with me as well, and I don't know if the contestants are in this channel, but I'm looking at a four square of the four different contestants, and we've got quite a few people kind of looking for reference. I think, excepting Peter. Peter doesn't seem to. Oh no, there he goes. Okay.
He's going to search for reference in incognito mode, just in case.
Yeah. You don't want that leaking into your Google profile. Now, as I recall last time, Peter was the one who spent the longest time sort of doing the pre-production phase and putting together, I think he put together kind of like a mood board of what was it, a sci-fi plant last time. And now this time he's involved in searching for candy apples and that kind of thing. All right.
Luiz is going already.
Okay.
Setting up some circles for now. It just
We've got our first nodes.
Oh.
People laying down their first nodes already. That was quick.
Oh my God.
All right, looking at Luiz's screen, it looks like he's putting together a...
Showing off the labs. Man, it's really good. Curve sweep. I've never seen that before.
Oh, okay. Well, that's quite appropriate.
There you go.
A poop in
There's
about
a poop.
20 seconds.
There you go. 2 nodes poop.
For those of our viewers who aren't familiar with Luiz, he's one of the people behind the SideFX Labs, formerly the Game Development Toolset. And so there's a whole host of tools and presets inside of Houdini, which are created by the excellent team over there. And Luiz is one of them. And I wouldn't be surprised to watch him make good use of those tools here today. They're within limits. I mean, they're within the rules. They're definitely allowed.
And a node I've never seen or never used.
Which one is a node you haven't seen?
I'm looking at Luiz, and yeah, it's
the curve sweep.
I'm just using the sweep with the star shape.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what kind of candy is going to make, but it's already looking really good.
I bet it's some soft serve. That's what it looks like to me. So he's plugging a star into, I'm assuming that's the profile input of the curve sweep, and then the other curve sweep he's plugging a spiral, so that would be what Houdini calls the backbone. So you take the star and you run it along the backbone, and that ends up with your sweep shape, your curve sweep.
Just the skin. It's probably just the shape on the skin with... Yeah, that's really good and it's fast.
Yeah.
SideFX Labs is for.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah. Just as a reminder to anybody watching, any time you want to look at one of these screens a little more up close, you can click on it and hit the F key on your keyboard, and that should allow you to dive into that screen. You can sort of see it a little bit more up close.
Yes, so just press F and fast. Also, you don't have to follow us. We're just going to comment on what people are doing, trying to explain what they're doing, but feel free to look at your favorite if you're going for it.
Yeah.
Look at Peter, maybe. He started making some nodes.
Terrific. Yeah, let's look at Peter's screen.
Making a sphere with magnets? And
oh, magnets. Old school. So he's got a metaball in there, and he's moved it a couple of different places. So he's piped his metaball into a couple different transforms, and then he's running one into a magnet and then running that into a second magnet to make an irregular shape.
It's old school people would use these days, but maybe faster.
If I can put you on the spot, Remi, what do you think would be a good replacement for the magnet tool? What would he use these days if he wasn't going to use the magnet?
Could you repeat?
If I can put you on the spot for a moment, if he wasn't going to use the magnet tool, what would be the equivalent? What's the more new school way of doing that?
I think I would just go for spheres scattered on points or with some noise and just VDB it to union and get a kind of shape. It depends on what he's going for, because it's still a bit early to know what he's exactly going for, I think.
True. Yeah, that's a good call. Yeah, bunch of spheres, that would work too.
Maybe he's trying something and he's like, it's not working, because maybe that's what's happening. You can tell Peter likes his old nodes, he knows them, confident in what he's doing with nodes, so he's going for them. Instead of trying to be the apprentice.
Exactly. In his work at the mill, he's used these many, many times, I'm sure. A lot of Super Bowl ads and that kind of thing, so we'll see. I've had it brought to my attention that the multi-twitch might mute all the streams by default, and so one has to manually unmute them. So if you want to hear what a streamer is saying, if they're saying anything, you can go ahead and unmute them. They may be providing commentary, they may not. I know I wouldn't be.
Right, should we have a look at someone else? Maybe at Max?
Yeah.
I don't know what he's doing.
Good call. So let's go down and see Max's
Have a
screen.
look at everyone. He's making an OTL.
What's he making?
I don't know what he's doing. It seems really complicated. Well, he's making a for each loop, and
All right.
he's making a clock, I guess, or he has the Roman numbers going on.
So that's a font SOP. SOP, of course, standing for surface operator, is what we call nodes in the surface context. So in the font SOP, he's laying down, he's putting, not actually just typing out what the font SOP should say, but he's putting code in there. So yeah, I think you're right. I think he's going to be using that to procedurally put down some text inside of, might be a clock face, although I don't know how. I guess that is fairly steampunk, even if it's not.
Oh, yeah,
Maybe it'll be made out of peanut brittle or something. And again, I like seeing the grid on his screen. That kind of, as somebody who likes to keep their node grid a little organized, I always like seeing that. People using the dots on there. It's one of the many options you have in the node graph view to keep your stuff sort of synced up and lined up. Please fast.
Paul is giving a really good reminder to the players. Save often.
Definitely. We did have a crash last time. We had on our first outing. We did have a crash.
But don't want to lose just because you crashed.
Yep.
Max is doing so. Probably we should wait. He's a bit
Further along.
have a look at Jake.
Yeah.
He's doing something.
Let's visit Jake Rice. That's Diener Daddy.
Yes, Diener Daddy.
Diener Daddy. Well, I know. I believe he refers to Houdini as the Dieners, so it could be that he is the Diener Daddy.
Oh, shortest path. I like that. I don't know what he's going for, but usually gives good looks.
Definitely. Can be used for quite a variety of things. A quick way to add visual interest to a surface.
Ooh, that's a good reference. If he's going to make a gun or that woman.
Looks almost like a wedding band for now.
It does look like that right now, but he's going to go for.
Looks like he's going to, let's see if there's a 90% chance that something will happen. 90% chance the point will be removed. So it looks like he's knocking out 90% of the points in the geometry.
Just wants points to be added in the
Now
curve
50%
created.
Okay. And then running
The curves on the geometry. Doesn't
interesting.
want all of them.
So that when they get knocked out, they might still describe a curve so that you can run geometry along them. So it's not just a complete random knockout. And he's using a polywire SOP instead of the curve sweep SOP that we saw Luiz using. Two similar nodes, but two slightly different nodes. Now, Jake gave a talk at the LA Hug a while back at the LA Film School, the Hollywood Film School. And it was about how to write your own polywire SOP. So I guess he's using the stock SOP today instead of writing his own, probably to save time.
Yeah.
Well, I'm really interested in what this turns out to be, but so far I would have to say that the most delicious looking one is back on Louise's screen. Let's go take a look at it.
Luis is going for it's a cake. It's definitely edible.
It is. I thought,
Steampunk yet.
unless those are brass buttons he's going to put on there.
I have no idea how it's going to be steampunk yet. Just for the no idea whatsoever. So we'll go for it.
Let's see. Well, have a look quickly at Luiz' stuff because it already looks good. Already a cake. It's rendered it. Good shaders, it probably look good already. Oh, axis align. That's another labs tool that was added. It's really useful if you haven't yet. It's just to align things to the axis of the world. That's something we usually do with just changing the centroid, but that makes it really easy. So I really recommend it.
Absolutely. One of the many useful nodes in the SideFX Lab toolkit. So now he's going to arrange them maybe on a plate.
We might have gotten the first crash. Let's see.
Oh,
You get the first crash?
It's not responding. Come on, you can do this. Hammer escape. This is awesome because I was just in a meeting where we said Windows doesn't crash.
Well,
more's the pity. I think we might. We've got a.
I have a crash.
Screen. Our first crash of the evening goes to Luiz Kruel.
Yeah. That is
So, I guess we should have a look at Peter. He's starting to have some gears going on.
All right, looking over at Peter Claes' screen now. Oh, yes, indeed. It's got some gears. It sounds steampunk to me.
Definitely gears fits the theme. I don't know how much of a cake it's going to be. Maybe it will look like more of a donut. It's definitely possible to do that. Would be nice.
I like it, especially because then you have more donut.
Should be the prize for winning this.
Yeah.
That's more edible than a mouse pad.
Well, maybe if we get the budget, maybe we'll 3D print whatever the winning entry is. So Peter, again, true to form, laying down a lot of nodes in a short period of time. I've noticed that in this and the last battle, he tends to lay down a lot of nodes that individually kind of do a little bit, a few, just very small tasks kind of broken down. And I wonder if he kind of approaches his works that way, sort of breaking them down into very small steps, rather than putting down like one big node or a big vex wrangle and trying to do a lot in one single node.
Things at a time. That's usually a better approach, because if you do everything in one node, and a lot of time to fine tune it.
Yeah, definitely. It can be harder to find if there's something going wrong. It does look like a fine stack of gears, but I'm not seeing the candy theme quite yet. Perhaps he's got a plan. Perhaps he's going to do it in the shading step.
Oh,
some more ref he's looking at here. It looks like a steampunk clock, and that's our candy apple there. Advertising.
I'm kind of wondering how he's meshing his gears, because the topology looks good.
Looks like a couple of poly extrudes and then a subdivide on top of it.
I didn't see it was just subdividing the geometry, making it under.
So he probably made one profile, maybe with a polygon node, and then extruded that, and then subdivided that. So we had some nice looking. Oh, now he's combining them all together by running them into a VDB from polygons, and then converting the VDB back into polygons. Interesting way to get topology to all kind of fuse together and get some nice watertight geometry.
Have a look at someone else.
Yeah, he's definitely got his. He's got it under control.
Oh, I don't know what Max is doing. It looks cool.
Right, looking down at Max.
Is it the
Moseley's
recursive?
screen.
Is he doing something recursive?
he's worked fractals in here somehow. So I think you definitely seem to have been correct. There's a clock face or something very similar with a lot of Roman numerals on there.
That's an L system.
Is that an L system? Oh, all right.
You can see the node at the top. That's really good.
Excellent. An L system for our viewers is a collection of very simple rules that you give to Houdini or anything running the L system, and it kind of moves a cursor following those rules. It's a really interesting way to end up with branching structures. A lot of times it's used to come up with a branching structure of a tree or something like that. Here, Max seems to be using it to provide visual detail to his clock face, if that is in fact what this is going to be. It's ambitious, I think. L systems they're actually pretty intuitive, but you need to spend a little time sort of understanding their habits. But they actually are quite easy to use once you do that.
I like the regex. Use it, get used to it, and the day you stop using it, you forget everything about it, and you have to relearn it again.
Exactly. I'll take your word for that one, but that does sound like it.
A circle.
I have to say, I think Max is one of the fastest in laying down nodes. I almost feel like we're watching the video sped up.
It's like he just recorded himself doing it hours ago. He just started playing it faster.
I'll be interested to see how it goes with the theme, though. But yeah, look at him go.
Doing well, but not seeing the candy yet. So
it could be that a lot of these things, the candy's going to come in at sort of the last stage, maybe the candy color or something like that. I know that we're not intending to go to render with these, but if somebody was daring enough to go to render,
not too much, I think.
Yeah.
I guess we should have a look at Jake or your daddy.
Sure. Let's go back to Diener Daddy's screen and let's see what he's got for us. He's got a woven basket.
He's
like
bringing himself. And his team just stopped working for him.
His node structure is looking a bit like Peter's, is sort of extemporaneizing it, kind of like adding branches onto it, moving them over here, moving them like that. They sort of flow into each other. It's funny when you get into the zone with any software, but with Houdini as well. You just kind of like, you don't pay attention to it, and you just kind of start imposing your will on the object that you're creating, and you stop thinking about the interface, and then you wake up out of that state and you look at the interface and you've created a mess. It's really kind of hard for me to determine what he's doing. He's got some clever vex here, where he's.
What I like is, for at least all the stuff that's outside, he's not planning it himself. He's just letting the program doing it for him. So if he could just wedge it, he could do it. It would be like, oh, give me 10 wedges. I just pick the one I like. So you could see him earlier just changing the seat or something like that. And like, okay, I'll just choose this one because it's better. That's also my way of working because I'm not a good artist.
So you go for quantity over quality.
Exactly, because one of them is going to look good at some point. It's a bit blur.
Is he actually going to do some wedging, do you think, or are you just bringing that topic in? I would be really interested if one of our contestants actually did some wedging. That would be a fun chance to kind of talk about that. We'll see.
I don't think last time anyone used tops. It would take a long while. Ooh.
Huh.
Sometimes nice structure.
Yeah, it's visually quite interesting. Oh, yeah, okay. So he's putting together... I don't know if you can hear that. They're starting fireworks in my neighborhood. I apologize for that. He's putting together... Could be a basket. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but he's got an interesting sort of hexagonal, irregular structure, but one that kind of looks naturally created or eroded, so like a beehive, but like less regular than a beehive.
done that with just a divide sop for a bit.
Mm. Yeah, the thing with polywire is that sometimes you can end up with a lot of extra geo that you don't need. Luckily, that the poly count is not something that the contestants are being judged on today.
Ooh.
I'm really interested in the visual detail he's bringing to this.
Oh, that's a lot of detail and gives some feel at least.
Hmm.
Would be a really big candy.
Yeah. It's the Jolly Rancher for the Jolly Green Giant. Oh, it looks like a wheel of cheese almost. Steampunk cheese.
He's trying to appeal to me, the French guy.
Yeah, he knows your weakness.
Should we have a look at Luiz?
Yeah, great. Going back up to Luiz Kruel's screen.
His cupcakes are looking really good and must be really heavy because when he's packing them, it's already only 20 of them show up. There must be at least 1 million polygons each.
So, with the amount of polygons in each one of these, he has to create references to them so we can see lots of them. If he tried to have the computer keep track of every single polygon of each one of these, his computer would stall and die and burn. But instead, he's creating a packed instances, basically references to geometry, and then Houdini can deal with a lot more of them. So he may be trying to drown us in cupcakes or preparing to do so, which I am okay with.
That is a good idea, and I'm going to steal it.
Uh-oh.
Cheating! They're cheating already!
That is a great idea.
My price is one cupcake.
I think Luiz is making a buffet.
Yeah.
I think you should make enough for each of the people that are in the chat.
Yeah, I hope you bought enough for the whole class.
Have someone that have a cupcake. You can share it because because of COVID.
Right. Everybody gets their own individually wrapped.
We're getting on 25 minutes.
Ooh.
Damn.
Have a look at Peter.
Sure.
Oh.
Moving back over to Peter Claes' screen now. And he's
He's doing a simulation.
simulating some frosting.
Oh, snap.
I guess it's chocolate or something on top.
It's,
Let's go for simulation when we have 5 minutes.
yeah, it's a bold strategy indeed.
If you have a fast computer, it's probably fine. Would probably just use what we saw last time. I think someone was using the Snow Labs node that used to just put stuff on top of geometry. That's a really cheap way of putting something on top. Smooth it and I think what was iced.
Now that labs tool, was that all in SOPs or was there a simulation aspect to that as well?
It's just a SOP. I think it's just a array and it's just scattering some points, probably VD using VD like that.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
But Peter's going for the full fat version, so to speak. He's
going
literally
for-
pouring a flip fluid onto his object.
A simulation may look really good, especially if you get the sticky parts and have a nice motion.
Mm.
He's starting to get, he's getting something that's more dripples.
He is. I dare say he's probably done some food beauty work before, so he knows maybe some good settings to start with. But yeah, absolutely doing a flip simulation during a timed challenge is quite quite brave.
He knows he won once. He can afford to lose once.
That's right. As a reigning champion, he can't afford to be bold. And he's putting down a stash there, and I'm not entirely familiar with the stash. I know it's similar to a cache, but I think it stashes on disk instead of in RAM.
The same as locking your nodes. It used to be locked, but it's bad. Usually, I wouldn't stash such geometry in the file because it's of Houdini file really heavy. But it's just 45 minutes, so it probably doesn't matter. It's also a good way. It's a good way for him to save the geometry without having to save it outside in the video.
Gotcha. So for our viewers, that node that says that are watching up Peter Claes' screen, that node that says stash, that's keeping a sort of a cached copy of the geometry that was an output of the simulation. Now, if he didn't have that, then everything upstream might resimulate if he made a change, and that would cost a lot of extra time. We can't have that, so he's put down a stash node to basically lock in place everything upstream of it so that he can continue on downstream. He must have gotten a good result the first time.
It may also be in case he crashes. So
Very
when
true.
he opens his file, he will be able to get back to his state. Otherwise, he would have to do the simulation.
Oh, and now here he's done something. What's he doing here?
So he's spraying the geometry on, he's spraying the fluid on the geometry, and somehow
he's doing a blend between the RAID geometry and the output of the simulation. And
I think he wants the simulation to be closer to the geometry.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Would go for a simulation that has separation that's lower, but he doesn't have the time to do that. I think he's going to go for it. There you go, multiplied by, I can't see it, 7 or 0.3. That would be just a bit slower, but be confident in having probably the chocolate look. That's good.
Now he's meshing the result of the simulation. Because the simulation outputs a bunch of particles, and you need to turn that into geometry if you're going to do anything with it. And that's what the particle fluid surface node is being used for in this eventuality. And the smaller the particle simulation parameter on that node, the more detailed the geometry, but also the longer it takes. So he's trying to, it looks like he's tied it in with an expression probably from the particle separation of the sim itself multiplied by some factor. Pretty versatile way to do that.
Have a look at Max, because we couldn't see earlier what he was doing. He has a triangle going on.
Yeah, back over on Max Moseley's screen, he's got some pretty complex stuff happening.
He has the L system and the clock, the Roman numbers on top. Chart, somehow, maybe it's the camera that's rotated. The one is on the left.
Oh, yes, I see. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure. Oh, now he's adding some detail to the face there, or some geometry to the face.
Ooh.
Another delta mush node.
Oh, there we go. We have another using the delta mush for what it's intended.
Fan favorite delta mush coming in.
What's going on?
I'm really curious. I think the detail on this one is very interesting. Sort of the clock face and the L system and the arrayed geometry, radial geometry here.
If you want to be a contestant next time, you have to learn how to use delta mush.
And try to work cheese also into your.
Put cheese and beer.
Yeah, beer also is acceptable. Yeah, I find this one really kind of compelling. I think he's getting some great visual detail. The clock face is kind of it's almost like he's broken it up
I'd love
into a
to
bunch
know
of different sort of
the
pieces.
Tetris look in the back.
Mhm.
The That's probably not the Voronoi. I don't know how he made that nice Tetris look. Would love to
Yeah,
see.
it's really interesting. So he's done. Let's see, he's assembling those triangular fan pieces that he did a copy. So he had one triangular piece that he copied it radially, and then he's packing that using the assemble node. I would be interested to know about the Tetris piece too. I saw that for a moment. I think that must be somewhere earlier up in the node graph. I have to ask him about that when this is done.
Well, we only have 2 minutes to explain now.
Oh,
Let's see if we give people more time to explain something technical.
yeah, it does. It looks great. It just doesn't look that edible yet.
Yeah, it feels like I would cut my teeth if I tried to eat. Maybe I would go back in time or something.
There you go. So it's you damage your teeth and you go back in time. Like only the best candies can do.
I think he's using a lot the match size sock, which I think puts everything in a box of a unit of 1 by default.
Mm-hmm.
He's trying to get everything in the same space. Yeah, I think someone is making a good point. We should look at what Jake is doing.
All right. Heading back over to Jake Rice's screen, aka Diener Daddy.
What kind of texture did you put on the candy?
I still think it's a cheese wheel. I'm going with cheese wheel.
My God, if my cheese was red and white,
So let's see. Get anybody in the chat. Now,
Triangle, we can't see the code, so sorry, we can't tell what he's doing for the.
I'm really interested in his node graph, but I'm having a really hard time kind of puzzling out what this could be. I'm looking forward to the big reveal at the end, where it was right in front of my face all along.
Oh, that's why usually people name their wrangles, but they don't have time for that, of course. If you like 5 attribute wrangle in a row and they're not named, I think a lot of people get angry.
Well, it adds a lot of time. So for our viewers who may not be familiar, an attribute, a wrangle, is basically a way to interject some code directly into whatever it is you're doing in Houdini. So whereas with nodes, you're able to sort of follow along by looking at the node graph, with an attribute wrangle, you have to be a little bit descriptive in the title. Otherwise, you'll have to dive in there and reacquaint yourself with the contents, which might take a lot of extra time. And also, you're not helping any of your fellow artists out if you're going to have to hand your hip file over. So label your wrangles. That's the takeaway.
Yeah. Mushroom now.
I'm so interested, and he's staying in Sop's land as well, so he hasn't gone.
I think most of the participants are. I mean, most Houdini artists are just within Sopland, and the rest is just like, yeah, just to make it nice.
Yeah, you want to do as much in SOPs as you can. The surface operators or the geometry operators, sort of much by a long shot, the quickest context in which to work, rather than like the dynamics context or the DOPS or any of the simulations. So we try and keep as much in SOPs as we can until we have to go into DOPS. Let's see. Boy, I mean, it's like he's creating a fully realized asset element here with a little bit of like natural variation and stuff. And what they're teaching him there.
gotta say, Luis is doing something cool.
Oh, okay. Let's go back to Lewis's screen.
Have a look at Luis. He's making some really good-looking gears.
Oh, here we go. Okay. Yeah. Is there a gear generator in the in the in the
I think it's going
SideFX
to
labs?
be added to labs in a few days.
Well, okay. So he's got a cupcake and he's just jammed some gears on there.
Make it easier to add gears in
I mean,
SideFX.
that's my understanding of the cyberpunk or the steampunk aesthetic too. An object with, and then you put some gears on it.
So
Maybe
in
a
my
dark
defense, I'm going off a reference.
one. Oh, do you have a reference for this?
Sadly.
Really?
So it'll show up at some point.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Well, I mean, that might count for something. It's like how close you came to hitting the brief. That's good.
There he goes.
Well made. His search was really made, and now he has something that's definitely fitting the.
Yeah.
Less than 12 minutes.
12 minutes left.
Eating up.
Wow.
It really goes by fast.
Let's,
I have to render it now, and
who should we visit now? Should we see Max again?
yeah, because Max, we've been having troubles to get what he's doing.
Yeah, so down back on Max Malcolm Moseley's screen, we see his node graph is growing. Looks like he's going for a really specific thing that he's trying to hit. I think he's been working on this for a little while, getting this going. Ah, lolly thing. Okay.
It's a lollipop.
Lollipop. The
Yes.
clocks. Oh, that would.
Has the top of the lollipop, and I guess it's just going to. It's a while to understand what it's doing, but maybe it will look really good at the end.
Yeah. Well, now I feel like I understand a little bit better. So now to keep his node graph a little bit more organized, he's got some merges going on. So instead of having to run lines all over the place in his node graph, it looks like he's actually doing an object merge, referring not to something outside of the graph, but something inside the graph, which can be a good way if you have a large node graph to keep it a little bit more organized without having to run lines everywhere. I don't know if that's what he's doing, but that's what it looks like to me.
If you have any section that goes up, it's bad. People do that.
Rather than have the messy looking node going up or the line going up and the arrow on it.
It gets really difficult to read a network where something goes up and it's lost. At least I get lost.
Yeah. I'm going to be really interested to see how he did that little Tetrisy background. I'm sure it's something very simple, but I think it's quite effective. It's really neat. He's taking the time to place all the elements. He's definitely kind of landing on the more aesthetic side of this challenge.
Could be a Space Invader steampunk thing.
So a lot of sort of organizational node stuff here.
Like he has an OCD to move his nodes and have them nicely organized.
I definitely feel where he's coming from. I do that too. I spend probably more time than I should making sure that my nodes are lined up just so and snapping to each other. Let's go take a quick peek at Peter Claes' screen. He's got a couple of things coming out of the top, or maybe it's the bottom. And he's using a bend stop to make a perfectly round thing here. I wonder if he's making the stem for his caramel apple.
Oh, the new bensop.
Yeah.
Tried to use, and I found I couldn't use it, frankly speaking. I just tried to bend a leg, and I couldn't do it.
You couldn't bend it? The new bend stop, we're saying it's the new bend stop. I think it was changed like 2 or 3 versions ago. Well, 1 or 2 versions ago.
I think it's from Houdini 18.
18. Oh, it is from 18. Okay.
I think it is. Somehow figure out how to use it, but it's me.
Mhm.
I don't know if you put some kind of shader on the liquid that's on top of the gears, but it's nice.
Oh yeah, I think he might have done. Is it?
GL, a simple OpenGL shader.
Yeah. So you have a little bit in the. Oh, here we go.
A lot of gears in it. Oh, okay, now I get it.
Oh, little gears inside the topping there. The
I gotta
sprinkles.
say, I'm not eating that one.
Well, I'm afraid you don't have a choice, Ren. You're going to have to eat each one of these. It's a taste test. That's how we're going to judge these. No, that's really interesting. I wonder if that was a simple copy to points. If he's just, put scattered a bunch of points inside the volume. Yeah.
I'll just took random points from his simulation and randomize the orientation, and I think it's enough to do that.
It's a very effective technique. Find yourself scattering a lot and copying the points a lot. So,
The first things makes you love Houdini. The first time you use just the points and some geometry on something, and it takes 20 seconds to do it. When in Maya, you need 3 plugins to do it.
yeah. I'm interested in the outcome here. It's kind of like, I think he was using a caramel apple as his reference, but then it almost looks like a Jello mold or something like that now, or a bundt cake even. I haven't had dinner yet. I'm sorry. This is a tough challenge.
The theme is difficult because steampunk candy. Not difficult.
But I gotta say, just from what I'm seeing from all of our contestants, I really like that sort of they're rising to the challenge quite well. Let's take a look down at Jake.
I didn't have a look at Jake for a while.
Yeah. So looking back at the screen of Diener Daddy.
Looks like sushi to me. It's salmon, but
Chocolate covered sushi, my favorite.
oh, better is if you make it with banana.
Oh, banana sushi.
And chocolate. Don't tell anyone in Japan one made that.
You'd be kicked out.
5 minutes.
Oh, we only have 5 minutes left. I gotta say, Luiz has something that basically done. Peter also had. Oh, he added some sprinkles on top, I think. Oh, it's just still the gears. It has something that's already king. Just Max. I don't know if he's going to finish his thing.
Yeah, let's take a look at Max again real quick. I'm actually going to dip back out to the 4 views here, I think, and just kind of stay here so I can keep an eye on everybody.
Yeah.
Alrighty, guys, I'm starting to get back. I don't know when the time is, but it's gonna get close now.
Yeah,
5 minutes.
4 minutes. About 4 minutes left.
Oh, really? Oh,
Did I
Okay.
did I not time right? Or pretty sure it's 4 minutes.
45.
Oh, is
Oh.
it for? Okay, your alarm went off. It's probably.
Maybe I set it to the wrong amount. Let me double check.
What about everyone else? Luis.
Just keep
No,
working.
I
Just
set it
keep
to
working.
Luis,
Right, whatever,
did
44 minutes.
The overtime.
Sure.
Sorry about that.
Let's see, King Kirby in the chat predicts that Jake is going to have some animation going on. We'll see if that turns out to be the case.
Max is doing some animation of this thing.
I don't know what he would animate, but let's see.
I don't know what I'm going to animate either.
Well, you've only got 3 minutes, so.
$F.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
I
All
mean,
parameters.
it's spin, I guess.
All
my God.
parameters.
What are you doing, Luis?
I'm looking at Max's screen. I'm starting to see the lollipop come together just ever so slightly.
I could turn mine into a lollipop, I guess. Steal that idea.
I'm seeing the lollipop now on Max's.
There we are. Okay, we do have some animation on Max's lollipop, I'm thinking. I wonder. Do the contestants get special consideration if they add animation?
I don't have any cake in it. Empty! Oh, they're not empty anymore.
Coming down to the wire, this is like the British baking show. You know, the final touches have to be put on all the dishes.
And I think he did that in 45 minutes. I'm impressed. All that with all these cities GIF on his Twitch. The dancing baby. Really,
Dancing Baby, it's a classic.
Yeah.
it is.
I wanted to be a cool Twitch streamer. This is my first stream.
This is your first stream? That's not bad.
Yeah.
That's not bad at all.
I know that's not working.
Where did you get the gift? Did you make all the gifts?
No, someone posted a GeoCities search. I basically put Houdini in, and then I got a few of those, and then I had to put the dancing baby because that's
Right.
you
It's a
have to.
classic.
Need an under construction gift.
Yeah, I should have. Danger.
There you go, Max. It's starting to look like a lollipop. It's
Yeah. Oh yeah, and there's the animation. Look at that.
Less than
Those
1 minute,
spinning
everybody.
Ooh.
That's terrific. And if there's a special jury prize for most organized node graph, I would definitely like to award that tonight. And Peter's using the remaining time to make his more palatable, I think. Definitely looking more appetizing. And we're down to the final minute of Houdini Battle number 2.
Let's get that display flag on there.
And Icky is making Paul eat his candy. He's tearing his candy.
Okay, 10 seconds and 3, 2, 1, and time.
And that's time on the second
Hi,
Houdini
guys.
round.
Very nice
Battle.
job.
Good job, everybody.
All right. Pencils down, mouse is down, gimbals locked.
Just make a preview of it, or it looks like Peter was already prepared.
He's rendering out a turntable.
Okay, 2 minutes. 2 minutes each. Jake, you want to talk about what you made here?
I mean, I can.
If you
So if
want, I
anyone
mean,
wants to hear, I can. I'll explain some, I guess, fun things I did.
Yeah.
Let me start a timer. 2 minutes.
yeah. Oh my God.
It doesn't have to be exactly 2 minutes.
I don't. Given the opportunity, I'll talk way more than 2 minutes. So my thought was to make one of those mints that are like red and white striped. This kind of
Starlight
make
mints.
and then I swiftly realized that I'm not good at math and didn't know how to do these stripes very well. So that was rough. And then, one thing I noticed in all these steampunk pictures, I got excited by this crap, is that there are these, pipes with things. I could have gone for gears. Gears are probably more steampunk, but I decided against that. So I used find shortest path to make some random paths that I could make pipes with, which I thought was smart, and then it didn't look good. and so that was kind of sad. And then all steampunk things need rivets, so I went for rivets. So you can see they're gorgeous. And yeah, so that I spent a lot of time trying to figure out the stripe pattern, which is not smart. But I had fun. And
Yay!
so that's where I ended up.
Having fun is the goal.
Yes.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
Ooh. All right.
Okay, Luis.
All right, let's have a look at Luis.
Yeah. So when the topic came up, I immediately thought of the Solaris tutorial, which unfortunately I didn't watch, and I regret not watching it.
You immediately thought of
But
it.
I was like, hey, cupcakes, I think we can do something with that. And then basically I kind of built that out. I crashed halfway through. I think I did a copy to points on the billion points, and it just ate it. So I lost a couple of minutes bringing everything back up. And then I had a cupcake, and then I didn't know what to do with it. And so I looked up reference of basically steampunk cupcake, in which the first result was essentially what I built, which is slap some gears on it. And in my defense, that's what the reference said, which I know is super lame. And then I basically brute force the modeling. So there's no tricks here. It's basically a really... I'll post the HIP file up if people care about it. There's a bunch of nodes sprinkled in there. Like I saw some comments about the MacCap. So it's basically brute force mixed with a bunch of hacks to make it go fast. But this is just to kind of show that you can model just straight ahead. You don't have to come up with some fancy algorithm of selecting every other face. Sometimes you just go in and select every other face, and that's okay. You get to the result.
Right.
And then you can come back in and come up with an expression after it's done.
It's a good thing to remember.
Awesome. Max.
Let's have a look at Max.
Can you hear me?
Hey,
Oh, hello?
Yeah.
go for it, Max.
Oh, okay, sorry. So, I was struggling with my font clock thing. I just have 12 points for clock, and then to get the Latin symbols, I had a Python array to grab the iteration.
With the
I was panicking because it didn't work for a second. And after that, I was playing with these fractal stuff. I don't know fractals, but it turns out if you just add an F a few times, you get R. So, what next? This I think is actually from Jake Rice or Matt Estella, but it's just a clustered Voronoi. And then I was trying to use your guys' subdivision thing. I think it's in the sci-fi OTL. So that was
the
cool.
panel generator.
Yeah. Actually, I've learned a few things from there too, but I won't go into that. And I was gonna do everything. I kept UVing everything, so I was gonna do it in UV space, but I was blanking. So I just booleaned in world space to get the shape, random extrusion for each, and I call it deco thing. I don't know. And then the lollipop part, I was like, I don't know any candies really off the top of my head. So this was a little bit of a stretch if you want to see this as a lollipop. But I tried to add like these to my reference. I had these orange seeds thing. This one here. I don't know if you see it. Oh wait, it's on my head. So on the right image, there's
okay, like
little seeds.
An orange,
Like an orange lollipop. Gotcha. Yeah, a little bit of stretch. But yeah, and then I just $FF rotate it and call it a day. I don't know, nothing special. It was scary, but you guys are all awesome and you're so smart. So yeah, that's all I got.
It was a lot of fun to watch. So we were trying to figure out how you were doing that the clustered Voronoi thing. We kept calling it the Tetris thing.
Oh yeah. I think I swear Jake Rice's name came up when I first learned about that. but maybe he knows more. Yeah, it's just clustering Voronoi.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Peter.
Alrighty.
Eating candy now.
Moving up to Peter's screen here. Steampunk candy.
So basically, I started with the idea of let me just bring the reference in for just a moment. Where is it? Yeah, so, oh shit, what the heck? Oh well. Anyway, so basically what I have here was this kind of candy, right? So it's kind of a rotating kind of swirly thing. So I kind of like that. I also like the idea of a sort of candied apple, and then like some nice kind of potential there for doing some fun stuff. Looked at some steampunk. What you have there. Like it's oftentimes like indeed gears and things like that. So this kind of like gears kind of stuff is fun. So I built this thing which. I tried something a little bit harder, and that's a flip fluid simulation during this. So basically, we'll see where that kind of went a little bit against me, and because it took quite a bit of time to set up, but then like try it right and go beyond. So I basically have initially I started with an apple. I have my I'm going to make some gears out of this. In order to do that, I needed to know how big my gears needed to be. So what I'm doing is I'm doing a quick sort of apple shape, sort of. I match my line to that, and then we're gonna array to get the distance against each of these points. I've got a little clamping going on here, my orientation. Anyway, I'm gonna get the gears out of this. Then we're gonna run through each of the gears and do a quick little extrusion out of that. I'm gonna turn that into a VDB as well for my collision object. This then goes into flip, out to flip, and my collider as well. So here, this is going to be my source, my emission source. I stashed it. So here is my flip fluid simulation. Unfortunately, I had viscosity on and other stuff, but unfortunately, it didn't quite stick to the shape as much as I wanted. But thought, hey, try to challenge myself a bit as well with this, right? And then I have a bit of alpha going on here, right? And then so mix those two together. So we've got the gears with the the candy stuff sort of over it, but this is what I mean. It doesn't really fit properly. I tried ray projecting the particles onto it and then meshing afterwards. Didn't really work. If I need to fix this more, I would probably grab the mesh and do a lattice deform. But I was like, okay, I got to move on. So then I grabbed, like 10% or so, or even less of the particles, and I copied my gears on there as sort of little sprinkled sort of gears. And then I also made over here a little stick that sticks out to the sides. So basically we've got this kind of thing, right? I vaguely remember from one of the examples as well, I don't know if it was one of the Solaris ones or something else, whereby somebody was making the bend. So I kind of used the bend to twist this stuff up. This is kind of fun in terms of, but I struggle with capturing it. So now I'll remember forever because it's under pressure, but it's the capture direction. That thing is like really important when you're doing this. And then same thing for the bend, right? So that we can basically here capture and bend that a little bit. And then I'll merge that together with the other stuff. Right? And then here, one more thing that I do is I had a little time left at the end. So I took was kind of wanted to do some more sprinkles at the top, more like powdered sugar, but then it obviously gets expensive to do that. So here I'm going to use the normal, right, and grab the top polygons, blast everything except the top, scatter some points on there, do the same thing, scatter my little gears on there, but this time give them sort of a uniform color so that they're sort of this pastel kind of color. That's my little sugar on top, and then align it in the scene. And I did use one of the SideFX Labs tools, which is the turntable here at the end. So that is.
I've never heard of it.
So yeah,
That's
so
so cool.
There's my turntable.
Oh, very interesting.
If we go back up.
I think we're just using Houdini Battle to show that Houdini Labs has a lot of rules.
Yeah.
I think next time we should do like a secret ingredient and put one of the labs tools in the secret ingredient or something along those lines.
So that you have to use that in your solution.
Right.
Yeah, like the cooking shows.
Oh, that could be fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll put that as an extra part of the dice that we roll.
Maybe.
Fun.
Okay, great. Let's vote for the winner. Let's go to Discord, and there is a poll bot, and people have already. Oh, I.
Oh, you should make a new one. I think people just. I added E.
Yeah, thanks, Remi, for that. So we'll ignore. We're gonna ignore E for a second. So I'll give everyone like a second to get all the votes in.
Can remove. Okay, you can remove if you already voted, made the mistakes.
But you can vote more than once. This isn't. It's not like you can choose multiple people. We're just getting the most. That's okay.
And also, I don't know if anyone else tried to do something. Last time we had someone that did audience thing. I don't know if anyone posted such a thing.
Yes, so everyone who on your own battled with everybody, please post to the battle chat. Let's see. Nice. Okay, not seeing anything.
It was difficult, and maybe they saw people were doing, and they're like, "Oh my god, it's too good."
Okay. So the commentators, did you guys put your votes in? Are you guys voting too?
Are we empowered to vote? All right.
Yeah,
The franchise has been extended to us.
let's vote. Okay, so I'm gonna vote. And I like these emojis popping up, you guys. This is funny.
There is a SideFX emoji.
Yeah. Okay. So I think the votes have stopped. And it's pretty close between Peter and Max here.
Winning.
Oh yeah, it's a good PDB, and that brings up a good point here. If everybody can put their art back up on screen.
Oh, okay. So everyone put their final art up.
Jake's busy looking at a smoke pig.
Louis added another lollipop.
I took it out.
Oh, you took it
Never
out.
final.
I liked it. You should leave it in.
All right. I did that what you guys were explaining.
AP head.
Okay, well, it looks like Peter again is the winner. Congratulations, Peter. And Max, you are a close second.
Max the Apprentice is almost gaining on the Master.
Yeah, okay.
And
That was fun.
yeah. Good job, you guys.
Yeah,
Thank you
that was a
so
lot of
much.
fun.
Thank you so much for participating. It really means a lot to everybody. Everyone was so excited.
This was fun. It was good fun.